What's poppin', motherfuckers? MMA picks for you, back with another video. This week we'll be talking about some of the most underrated fighters in each division of the UFC. These fighters aren't necessarily the best fighters in each weight class. They're just fighters I don't think are getting the deserved amount of hype or praise. Yeah, let's get straight into the video. First things first, at flyweight, I have Andre Lima. This guy came in with a good amount of hype into the UFC, but he hasn't fought in about a year and a half now, and a lot of people haven't been talking about him because of that. Personally, I think this guy is still one of the best prospects in the flyweight division, sitting at 11-0. His fight history is looking pretty good in the UFC. He's already had 5 fights in the UFC, all wins. He's coming off that submission win over Daniel Barres a little over a year ago now at this point. He has had really long gaps in between fights. However, his career only started in 2022, and he's already had 11 pro fights, which is really impressive. He's had 5 KOs, 1 submission. Most of his UFC fights have gone to decision. He took Mitch Raposo to a split decision. However, Mitch Raposo is no slouch. He is actually really good in the UFC. His record doesn't show that, but he's a hometown guy to me, and I know how really talented he actually truly is. Igor Severino was that guy who bit him in his second UFC fight. That's why he has that tattoo on him that says, like, I got fucking bit bonus. Makes no sense, but yeah. Yeah, Andre Lima, flyweight prospect. Moving forward, we got Elijah Smith at bantamweight. This guy's actually been getting some traction recently for his impressive wins. I've been super high on this guy since the day he got into the UFC. What's that? Half like South Korean, half African American. His dad, I believe, is also in the UFC. And yeah, he's had 4 fights in the UFC now. Well, 3 in the UFC, 1 on Dana White's Contender Series. All victories. Beat Aaron Tao on the Contender Series. That's a decent win. Aaron Tao tried to come back into the UFC, and then he missed weight, and he's banished forever. Vince Morales decision, that's another impressive victory. Vince Morales is also not that good, even though his UFC record shows otherwise. Toshiyama Kazama, he KO'd that guy into fucking next week. He slammed him straight on his head. Dude was out for minutes, and then subbed Su Young Yu. I thought he was going to beat him by decision. That's a really impressive win to beat. I think Su Young Yu is also undefeated in the UFC, and he finished him early in the second round. That one loss to Reyes Cortez Jr., I honestly think that taught him something, and it'll make him better going forward. Since he's not undefeated, it's like the one before this, Andre Lima. I believe he actually knows how to take a loss and knows how to bounce back from that. And he's still super young at only 23 years of age. I believe he has a super high ceiling in this division and is a future top 10 ranked prospect. Moving forward, what? No way. Daniel Santos, he's a featherweight at this point. Why does it say he's a bantamweight? He's in featherweight. He must be. I wouldn't have had him on here. Yeah, I believe Daniel Santos is a featherweight. I'm not going over multiple fighters in the same weight class. Jusong Yu, yeah, he was a featherweight fighter. I don't know what happened. Jung Young Lee, Johnny Munoz, John Castaneda. I don't know if I got something wrong, but I believe all of these are featherweights. I believe they have them mixed up here. I could be completely wrong, but his last fight, he weighed in at 151 pounds. That's lightweight. But I don't know. 14-2, Daniel Santos. He's been looking really good in the UFC as well. Willie Cat. He's at Shoot the Box by Diego Lima. His only loss in the UFC is his debut to Julio Arce. He lost a decision. That's whatever. Since then, he's bounced back. He has 2 KO wins, 2 decision wins. That Jusong Yu KO win is extremely impressive. I wasn't picking him to win that fight. I thought Jusong Yu was a really good prospect. Beat Jung Young Lee before that, Johnny Munoz, Sean Castaneda by KO. Yeah, I believe this guy also has a super high ceiling in the featherweight division. And yeah, Shoot the Box fighter. Moving forward, Chris Padilla. Now, this guy is someone I can actually talk about for a pretty long time. Chris Taco Padilla. This guy has been an underdog in all 4 of his UFC fights so far. Came in as an underdog to James Yontop. How do you come in as an underdog to James Yontop? I don't understand. He subbed him in the first round. Came in as an underdog to Rong Zhu. TKO'd him in the second round. Underdog to Jai Herbert again. Beat him by split decision. In my opinion, this should have been unanimous. He beat Jai Herbert's ass. I don't know why it went split. Oh yeah, it was in London. Jai Herbert was the hometown guy. But yeah, he lost that fight. Ismail Bonfim beat him by KO, TKO. That was also another really impressive win. And yeah, this guy's no one to like sleep on. This guy's actually super talented. He has 6 losses, but he has a longer pro career than anybody else here. You look at some of his losses. He took 3 losses in a row. One of them in Bellator to Gabe Green, Darren Smith Jr. Some of these names I don't actually recognize, but they were a while ago in his career. I feel like he hasn't lost since 2022, like 3 or 4 fights before actually getting into the UFC. And yeah, I believe that this guy is someone to definitely watch out for. He does have an upcoming fight against. I guess they don't have it listed here, but he does have an upcoming fight. I predict him to win that one as well. I think he'll be going into it as an underdog for the 5th time, and I do believe he should be able to get that done. Moving forward onto the welterweight division, we got Jonathan Mikulev coming out of Australia, 9-1 at 6'0", only 27 years old. I believe that this guy is the Quillen Salkild of the welterweight division. Maybe if I filmed this video a couple months ago, I would have included Quillen Salkild instead of Chris Padilla. But Quillen Salkild's now at the point where he's already, I believe, ranked in the lightweight division, and everyone's on the Quillen Salkild hype train. He's no one underrated anymore. He's super hyped. Maybe even at this point, too hyped up. But we're here to talk about Jonathan Mikulev. So he's had 2 fights in the UFC, one on Dana White's Contender Series, 2 wins by submission, 1 by decision. Beat Kevin Doucette by decision. That's a good win. Subbed Oban Elliott out cold. That win's aging incredible. And beat Mo Ado by submission. That win actually isn't aging that good. I think Mo Ado has lost like 2 or 3 fights in a row since losing that fight. So yeah, he's not something that we all expected Mo Ado to actually be pretty good. That fight in the Dana White's Contender Series was actually a fight I was going back and forth on the most of this guy's whole career, as he lost by KO to Alden Bates, who is another pretty good guy that's not in the UFC, but if you're losing by KO to him in the 4th round, I mean, who knows how good you're going to be in the UFC, but this guy has proved to be pretty fucking good in the UFC. I don't know if I'm just jumping on his train because he's from Australia and I like all these Aussie guys, but I believe he should have a really incredible future in the UFC. Moving forward, we got the middleweight division, Yusri Belgarui. I wrote my list of these fighters about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've been sleeping on this YouTube video. However, Yusri Belgarui just fought, so you guys will know who already won that fight between Mansur Abdul-Malik. I was picking Yusri Belgarui, as you saw my pick video last week. I think this guy was incredible, and he fucking came out here and absolutely knocked Mansur Abdul-Malik out with a knee to the head, or a knee to very high body, I believe. And yeah, now all 3 fights in the UFC or Dana White's Contender Series before his loss to, or since his loss to Marco Tullia a few years ago, he's came out. He's gotten 3 knockouts in the UFC, 1 outside of the UFC, and won a decision against Ahmed Sami, KO'd Taiga Iwasaki, and then KO'd Azamat Bakov and Mansur Abdul-Malik, who are both incredible prospects in the UFC as well. These are both guys with really high futures, and the fact that Yusri Belgarui has been able to easily take care of them by knockout is incredible. This guy is 6'6" at middleweight, only 33 years of age. I believe that this guy is going to be Alex Pereira 2.0. They honestly might give him for his next fight, Israel Adesanya, since they both have a history. I believe that Yusri will slump Izzy in the 1st round if that fight gets made. I don't think it should get made. I think we should actually be giving Yusri someone even a little more talented than Izzy, because at this point in Izzy's career, he's just done, and we don't want to see Yusri absolutely fucking take his head off. He's 10-3, so his record isn't that good, but he was in Glory Kickboxing for like many, many years beforehand. He actually does have a win over Poatan, and he trains with him at this point. He lost that split decision to Ahmed Sami a while ago, reclaimed that dub. Muhammad Osili, I don't even know who that is, but the one thing he needs to work on is that takedown defense, as he was taken down a couple times in the Mansur fight. But once this guy really gets that down, shout out to Glover Teixeira, because he's really working on that with these guys from Glory Kickboxing. But this guy will be an absolute problem. He's definitely going to be a top 5 guy in the weight class. And yeah, I'm surprised he's not even ranked yet, even though he's just coming off that win to Mansur, who wasn't close to the rankings. Moving forward, we got Abdul Rahman Yakyaev at light heavyweight. This guy is actually fighting this weekend, and he's a minus 2,000 favorite for a reason. Abdul Rahman Yakyaev is an incredible prospect. I can't even believe that this guy took a fight to a 5-round decision over Nikolai Kovalenko. Not really sure who Nikolai Kovalenko is, as he fought in Khan fight. Not sure where that takes place or what it really is. But yeah, beat Alec Lorenz by KO TKO in 30 seconds. That was a wild win. He absolutely shit on him in the Dana White's Contender Series. And then he comes out and fights Rafael Cerqueira. And even though Rafael Cerqueira is absolutely dog shit, this dude made it look beyond easy. It says submission in 30 seconds. He came out here, basically dropped Rafael Cerqueira with punches, head kicked him into another land. He almost got knocked out from that. And then instead of just finishing him up with ground and pound strikes, which easily would have put him out cold within like 10 seconds, this dude just locked up a submission and made him tap within 5 seconds. This dude's incredible. He's super well rounded. 3 KO, 4 submission, 1 decision at 8-0. He only has 8 professional fights and he's only 6'2", but this guy is going to be a fucking problem. He's from Turkey, he's 25 years old. And yeah, this guy's really going to be an issue. I can honestly see him being a future champion. He's definitely going to be top 5 in the light heavyweight division since it's not that good. And yeah, let's move on to the heavyweight division. We got Mario Pinto. Even though he's coming off that not very convincing win to Felipe Franco about 2 weekends ago, I still think he's the most talented prospect at heavyweight. I still think he's the most underrated fighter. All these guys, I believe, are super underrated and still the best prospect in the division. I'm kind of making a switch on if they're super underrated or if they're the best prospect. I'm kind of like merging those into each other. I just believe it's the most underrated prospect of each division. And Mario Pinto, even though people have been talking really highly on this guy for a while, besides his last fight, no one was talking highly on his last fight. This guy KO'd Gennady Diniz, KO'd Austin Lane instantly in the second round at least. He looked really good in it. And then also KO'd Lucas Camacho only a minute into the Dana White's Contender Series fight. This guy's 12-0, undefeated. He is really good. He has a bunch of wins by decision as well as by KO TKO. Only 1 win by sub. But at 6'5" and only 28 years old, this guy does have a crazy, crazy future at heavyweight. Heavyweight division, as we all know, is not that good. So there's really not that many people even ahead of him. I believe he's just outside of the rankings. Not sure how. He's not even ranked at this point. But this guy's another one of those guys that I could see being a future champion if it wasn't for that close fight to Felipe Franco. I believe this guy's another one of those top 5 in the heavyweight division in like a year or so guys. He's right up there. He's from Portugal, but he fights out of London. He's a funny guy. He has some personality. He has the skills. He's well-rounded. I believe that this guy will bounce back on his next fight. I believe he'll get a finish, and I believe he'll look pretty damn good, get the fans back on him, and show why he's one of the top 5 guys in heavyweight. Moving forward, at women's strawweight, we got Alexia Tainara. So, listen, I know that this girl's getting a lot of hype. She's 4-0 in the UFC. But she's not coming off of the best wins. I didn't pick her to beat Molly McCann. I did pick her to beat Loma Lookboonmee, even though I've always been high on Loma Lookboonmee. I didn't think she would be able to beat Molly McCann, who is pretty damn dog shit. And she got her out of there in the first round pretty damn easily and torqued on her grave. So that sent Molly McCann into retirement as well. Ever since then, I've been really high on Alexia Tainara, especially this week coming in over that fight against Bruna Brazil. I knew she was going to win that. It was kind of concerning seeing her take that spinning back kick to the face with like 3 minutes left. I actually thought she might have get knocked out with that. That was really... Did I say 3 minutes left? I meant 30 seconds left. Jesus Christ, that really almost finished her right at the end of the fight. Really concerning, but it showed that she has a chin, showed that she isn't going to quit, and she's just well-rounded enough to beat all these fighters that she's fought so far. Rose Conseichao. Am I wrong, or did Rose end up coming back into Dana White's Contender Series last year and make her way into the UFC? I might be wrong, but yeah, she got that bounce-back win over Bruna Brazil from her only loss 7 years ago by submission guillotine. She has actually some good names on her record, even though they're down in random fight leagues like X-Force, PC, Pentagon Combat. A bunch of these random ones. There are some good names down in her record, though. 5'4" at 30 years old, 14-1. I believe that this girl will be at least top 10 in the division by next year. Actually, I think she's already ranked. She'll be top 5 in the division by at the end of this year, I believe. She's really active. Bergwasina, she's got it. She's got the it factor. Yeah, moving on. You got Wang Kong at women's flyweight. Now, I know that this girl is the most hyped up prospect. I know that this girl is super good. No one's really underrating her. No one's also really even overrating her. Everyone kind of knows where she's at. But this is the girl that I do want to talk about this video. There isn't many other women's flyweights I want to talk about, or I really even care about at that point. But Wang Kong just beat Eduarda Mora. She missed weight in that fight. Eduarda did as well, but she did pretty much dominate her besides that one takedown in the second round. Ariana Lipski da Silva, I was there at UFC 316. She beat her ass. Bruna Brazil, she beat her ass as well. Victoria Leonardo, she knocked her out instantly. That's one of her only 2 knockout wins, though, in MMA. And Gabriela Fernandez, she was winning that fight until she took that head kick and then dropped down and got submitted instantly right after. However, Gabriela Fernandez is pretty good. She did just lose to Casey O'Neill, which was not the greatest performance. But Gabby Fernandez was just on like a 3-fight win streak. She's pretty solid. And weighing the Joker Kong, I believe she needed that loss because this girl was coming in there super confident, super cocky, thought she could just do whatever she wanted on the feet, and she took a head kick and almost got knocked out, and now she knows. She knows not to fuck around. She knows to just get shit done. She is a little more patient as she's won the last 3 fights by decision since that point. But yeah, I believe that's even better for her, more well-rounded, and I believe we're gonna be seeing a Wayne Kong finish coming up shortly. 5'6", 33 years of age. Yeah, Wayne Kong, future top 5 girl in the division again. Every one of these people, I can see them at least cracking the top 10. But yeah, moving on to our last fighter. We got Bia Mesquita, women's bantamweight. This girl is another one that's really hyped up after her win about 2 weeks ago to Montserrat Rendon. I don't know why she changed her name to Monsi, but it was Montserrat. Yeah, beat her and Irina Alexeeva by submission, one in the first round, one in the second round. She's looking incredible since coming over into MMA. She was, I believe, just a BJJ girl. She beat Mackenzie Dern and a bunch of other big names in BJJ, which is why she was so hyped up coming into the UFC. 7-0, 5 by submission, trains at American Top Team. The only issue is that she's already 34 years of age, so she's not like a young spring chicken or whatever. She doesn't have that long of a career in the UFC. I believe 5 more years max. But I do believe she'll be able to get into a title fight maybe within the next 2 years. This girl's incredible, and she has the storyline. She probably has some of the best submissions in the women's division at all. She's only 5'4", so she is pretty small, but I believe that this girl can maybe win a championship, at least be top 5 level. And yeah, that'll be wrapping it up for our undeserved or underhyped prospects. And yeah, everybody can take care. I'll see you guys shortly. I'll be going over a recap of last weekend's fight card, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer, which had some absolute bangers, so make sure to tune in. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.